Your kids are yearning for your attentive presence, and when you don't show up intentionally, you're missing your real job as a dad. Presence is not just physical. Real presence is making your kids feel seen, heard, and engaged with. The bell goes off when you're physically present, but the real game begins when you're attentive. If you miss this part, the entire game could be lost, and your child could be left feeling unworthy of your love. I'm Andrew Russell, founder of Dadarup, and I'm on a mission to promote and celebrate what it means to be a dad. On my first ever Dadarup podcast, I asked Robin Bossert, the founder of Navigators USA, a question that I always ask every guest. If you could send one push notification to every dad in the world, what would it say? He didn't hesitate at all, and he said, just be there. Show up for them, intentionally. And that truly hit me. Such a simple statement, yet something like that everyone pushes to the side. We're often distracted, pulled by work, stress, screens, right? And this is the message every dad needs. Just be there. Not physically in the room while mentally, checked out, but present, focused, intentional. That's how kids feel seen, safe, and shaped. And I know sometimes we make this seem so easy, and people all the time say, hey, Andrew, but I'm just so busy, so I get that. But just remember, when you decided to have children, it's work. And anything that takes work is never going to be easy. But just understand these little minds, they're yearning for your love, your affection. It's quite possibly one of the most difficult things you'll ever do in your life, being an actual parent, but also it's one of the most rewarding. So just understand, I never said it was gonna be easy, but if you wanna have an opportunity with your kids, have a better trajectory during the developmental years, you have to put in the work, and it's definitely not gonna be easy. Or, hey, Andrew, my kid, I'm there. They don't really even seem to care that I'm there. So, understood. But what are you, crazy? That's the game they all play. Like, hey, do you want me to go this? Nah, it's okay. How many people do you know in life when you say, like, hey, I'm going to do this? Nah, what's the big deal? I feel like if we, as dads, collectively just do the opposite sometimes of what our kids say, it's probably the right choice. But make no mistake, the kid knows you're there. Your kids, they know if you're actually attentive. I could tell you personally, watching my kids play soccer, even if they're playing goalie, which I don't necessarily, I wanted to get back to the defense side, my youngest, and start, crushing like she does. And I'm not looking, I'm on my phone. They know, literally, they have, it's almost like they're telepathic. Like the second I'm not looking, they're like, Daddy, you're on your phone. So just understand, number one, they want you there. Number two, they're yearning, they're fiending for your attentive presence. And of course, listen, Andrew, this is all great, and I do my best, but I provide. I make sure that they have everything they want. Now, I get that, but that's exactly the narrative that we're trying to redefine. A holistic, present, intentional dad. Part of the job is, of course, providing and giving your children a safe environment to grow up in and, giving them the necessities, of course. But it's not just that. That just gets you in the door. It's about being attentive, being there for them emotionally, being there to talk about their day, especially a girl dad. There's more emotions and more communication needed. And listen, at the end of the day, same thing goes for a son. The more people I've spoken to in this field, in the fatherhood space, with all the degrees, they all feel this is the exact narrative we're trying to unwind, which is the dad provides, the mom does the thing. Now it's time to completely revamp that narrative because dads, it's time for us to step up. So just remember, this is progress, guys, not perfection. I am not the best dad in the world. I make mistakes. I work on it every single day. I'm intentional every single day, but I definitely don't bat 1,000. There's no father in the world that bats 1,000, but progress, not perfection. So just understand, even 15 minutes of focused, intentional time, the research has shown it'll help them feel confident, loved, and it'll help them on a better trajectory, developmentally speaking. All right, guys, since showing up intentionally matters to your kids, here are 5 ways that you can improve your attentive presence. Now, the first, my favorite, it's actually not my favorite, it's what I struggle with the most, so we just get that out of the way and swallow the frog. It's the no phone zone, right? The no fly zone, it's the no phone zone. So it just goes without saying that if you're with your kids and you're on your phone, just think about it, right? Your phone is basically, net effect, it's like a video game. So imagine, growing up, when I grew up in the 80s, we had Game Boys. So imagine, when I was a kid and I was on the Game Boy the whole time, and my parents were talking to me. I mean, kids have, enough ADD, ADHD, all the things, right? There's so much stuff now that children deal with developmentally. It's hard enough if you give them, obviously, a video game, it's hard to get their presence. Same thing goes for adults, adult ADD, and, I'm sure I have something within that. So when you're on your phone gets your attention. It is the worst feeling. It is the most hurtful, right? And like, I'm a big guy, right? I'm in the emotions, right? I'm getting all emo, but it's true. Imagine you're with a business partner, your girlfriend, or you're with your loved one or whomever, and you're talking to them, and the whole time they're on their phone, right? And they're just like this. Oh yeah, no, that's cool. Yeah, that makes sense. Wait, what'd you say? Oh, okay. It gets to you, and it makes you feel like you're not enough. You're not worthy of their attention. You don't care. All the negative feelings. So the phone side, it's difficult. I am the first one to fall on the sword and say, even at this very second, I struggle. I'm going to see my kids in a little bit. I'm probably still going to struggle with this. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm in a mortgage company. Clients call, I have to answer. I'm worried about clients that are in process trying to close on homes. I have a lot of responsibility. That responsibility requires, unfortunately, electronics, right? These smartphones have turned into ultimately like a little laptop that's kind of like in the palm of your hands. But it's not fair to my kids. I made a decision that I wanted children, and I love my children. My passion is my two daughters, and they deserve my attentive presence. So what we've created is the no-fly zone. I've told the story multiple times about recently hardcore being called out by my oldest daughter that I'm on my phone a lot. And I thought I'd do a good job. I can't imagine a year ago how bad I was. If I thought I'm doing better this year, and she still called me out. And we basically created an agreement. Now, unfortunately, there's this thing called Roblox. It's potentially the worst game I've ever seen in my life. There's brain rots and tralalayu-tralalas and orkaleus and all these like crazy things. So I let them play it. Seems like an innocuous game. I hope I'm right. But our agreement is that daddy's not on his phone at all. And you know what, guys? In fairness, taking a step back, when I'm off my phone for an hour, then I check it later, you know what happened? Nothing. No one died. Nothing horrible happened. Work is still there. So they're right. It's just like this anxiety is, with the phone, whether you're an entrepreneur or you just have a phone addiction, which a lot of people do, potentially myself included, is very difficult. But I will tell you that we created a rule. The only time I can go on my phone, which is, kind of circuitously, I'm promoting them to play Roblox, is when they go, but in fairness, I'm not. When they play, what do they play? Italian Brain Rots and 99 Nights in the Forest and all these games that, like, my brain dies when I watch them play it. But they look kind of fun. I probably would like it too if I was their age. So when they're playing their electronics, which we have a limited window, when they're with me, I only allow them a certain window to play. But I get it. I was their age. I played Game Boy. I remember, Street Fighters and Contras of the world. So when they're using their electronics, I'm able to use mine for the limited window. But otherwise, whatever they're doing, I'm there. And I'm there with what they're doing, meaning at dinner, we have conversations and we play all these cool games and have all these cool traditions when they're watching certain shows on TV. Although if I was by myself, I probably wouldn't choose that show to watch. It's kind of cool watching Saved by the Bell again from the beginning. It seems like an innocuous show, so we're watching some of that stuff. So although it's not necessarily my favorite thing as a man turning 44, I'm definitely there doing with them. And the electronic side, the no phone zone, has directly correlated to making that a better situation for us all. And the second thing is, and before we get into the second thing, guys, make sure you go in the description and click the link. So a big thing in Data Up, which is a community we created to redefine what it means to be a dad, is we have a daily DDS. So it's a daily data success. What does that mean? Every single day, depending on how old your kids are, and are they your biological kids, or we call them flexies, are they your adoptive or foster children, or are they stepchildren? We have a prompt for you every single day for something cool to do, right? And I'm not saying dads out there that you don't do the thing every day, but wouldn't it be cool when my kids were younger if I had some kind of prompting through Data Up as this cool community where the 1 day, the 2 day, maybe the 1 day a week that I lost, the 1 or 2 days I lost in that month, or the 1 or 2 days I lost in that week where I didn't do the thing, right? We call it a daily flex. So I didn't do my daily flex with my kids when they were growing up all the time. So I did it, but I definitely lost a day. I got stuck at work or my head was somewhere else. So what it does is it gives you a daily prompt and it tells you exactly what to do. Maybe tonight you're going to tell your kid the first time you met them as a stepkid, how it made you feel and what it meant to you. Or if your child is one of your biological kids, when they were born, when you first met them, what it made you feel. Which is super cool. So in the description, click the link. We actually have a free 30-day DDS for you guys. It's a journal. It's going to tell you exactly what to do each day, and it's free. You can get a kind of a little taste of what we offer in Data Up. So make sure you go in the description, click the link, and get our free 30-day journal, our DDS. We made it just for you. The second thing is eye contact. Eye contact for a lot of people is actually very difficult, funny enough. I would think that in my business and sales and all these things, I specialize in eye contact. Because when you're in sales, how weird is it if you're trying to sell someone and you're not looking at them and they go like this? It's the same thing with your kids. I have found If I look them in the eyes, it's hard for them. It's kind of like the equilibrium and to center them. But if I slow down and I look them in the eyes very intensely, then they look me back. It's like almost like you kind of do like this bond, right? So it reminds me of the movie Avatar, right? Remember the thing? They put it to that tree and they kind of like connect to it. I feel like eye to eye contact is when you bond and you kind of have like that connection. So like you're in the comfort zone and you're able to, communicate. So I do it all the time, whatever they're doing, different things. So it's an important conversation. I take a deep breath. I slow down and I say, Daniela or Gabby, I'm like, just look me in the eyes. Like, and they do. Like, this is something that we're practicing. Takes time, but I find that communication, slow, and just like this, but eye contact is really the key. So this is something that I've definitely focused on this year and I've seen big results from. A third way that I've been very successful with attentive presence, and I've stepped up my dad game a little bit, is just asking open-ended questions. And I thought about this and I was like, what's the typical, situation, right? Dad comes home, crazy day, kids are there. Hey kids, hey dad, how was your day? Good. How was your day, dad? It was good. And that's where the communication ends. Unfortunately, I don't think that's the rage. So what I try to do is, and what I've learned, is asking open-ended questions. So, I sit, no phone, right? Like we're gonna flow through the 1 to the 5. We're only on number 3, but number 1, sit, no phone zone, phone's on silent, in my pocket or put away. Number 2, I ask them the questions, I look them in the eyes, they look me in the eyes, so it's like that closeness. Number 3 is open-ended questions. Oh, your day was good. Cool. Tell me about it. How was band with flute. Remember, because now we're playing, oh, when the saints come marching in, or whatever, the flute song is of the day. I ask how it was. Do you think you're improving? My older one on the flute side, the younger one, how was school? They do this thing like pineapple, right? You get to be like pineapple of the class. Were you today's class pineapple? It's funny, we're working on your listening at home, but in class, you seem to love to be the pineapple. Maybe I should get a pineapple for the house. But I found open-ended questions gives them the opportunity to really open up. And when they open up, you build a relationship and you just let them talk. I don't interrupt them. I listen. I shake. I smile. I ask them a little bit more open-ended questions, but I found depth of relationship. This has been really amazing for me to build a depth of relationship with both of them. And they're different people. I'm sure if you have multiple kids or multiple stepkids or you've adopted children or you have foster children, every one of them is unique and special in their own way. My older one is, I would call her an empath. She's got a huge heart, emotional, just like me. I'm a big emotional dude. My younger one, she's very logical. Like 1 + 1 = 2. Like, this is why it is. If it wasn't like this, why? It should be like this. So the way I approach conversations with both of them is very specific to who they are. I'm a big psychology guy and all the psychology of relationships and, all that good stuff. But I have found that asking them both these open-ended questions in their own little way has improved our relationships. And I feel super close to them. And it's only because I'm putting in the work. It's just really not perfect, but I'm passionate enough to put in the work daily to ask the questions, and you sit there and you have the patience to listen. The fourth piece, which I have found super cool for me, is planning one-on-one time. So when you plan a one-on-one time, whether you have multiple children, maybe you're, a blended family and you have biological kids and stepkids, or you just have one child, but obviously you and maybe the partner, if you guys are still together, then you both spend a lot of time, the three of you. I have found one-on-one time from a dad-son or a dad-daughter perspective, or a dad-stepkid, dad-foster kid, dad-adopted kid. The one-on-one time is the goal. Now, it's not easy. You're not going to do it every single day to single out all the other parties. But the one-on-one time really helps the bond. For instance, I have found, so I'm not saying I'm dad of the year, bringing my kids to Crumble Cookie, but, let's pretend like those cookies are gluten-free with all the protein and no carbs and no fat, and it makes you look jacked or makes kids super healthy, right? So I have found cool little times to do like a one-off thing with them. And when you sit and you do all the things, right? Your phone's away. So you're like, this is like the repetitive thing. And it really helps, guys, I promise. The phone's away. You look them in the eyes. You ask open-ended questions. And now you're alone. Sometimes, and I was in a house with multiple kids. Some of you guys watching might be in a house with multiple kids. And, when you're alone, you get a little bit more intimate conversations, more one-on-one time, more, things that are said where they're not trying to necessarily, puff their chest a little bit or show off in front of the brother or sister. So one-on-one time for me has been awesome. Even for my older one, they come to an age where they can sit in the front seat. So, there's always the argument who gets the front seat. It's difficult when you have two, so the answer is no. You do like cool little things and cool little traditions, but I have found the one-on-one time fosters the opportunity to grow and do more traditions, whether it's one likes to get their nails done, the other one doesn't, the other one likes escape rooms, believe it or not. So like we're big into the escape room side. My older one's kind of over it, but she likes to do some of these cool little girly things. My younger one likes to do a little bit more wild stuff. That's super cool. So the one-on-one time, it just promotes the relationship and it also improves them developmentally. The fifth and the last item, which is super important, is being calm, even during the storm. Before we get into it again, guys, make sure, before you stop watching this video, go in the description, click the link. Our 30-day, our journal, our DDS, our Daily Data of Success. So we made a free version for you guys of a typical 30-day for our Daily Data of Success. It's going to be a journal to show you every single day one cool thing to do. Do it with your kids. Be very open about it. But by doing those things, those small victories lead to big, big results as it relates to you being a present, intentional dad. So make sure you go in the description, click the link, and get your free 30-day DDS. So the fifth piece, again, calm in the presence of the storm or in the presence of conflict. So we want to teach our children, because life is dealing with conflict resolution. Things are going to happen. It's outside of everyone's control. Could be terrible things, unfortunately, God willing, no. Or it could just be small things. But little things happen. We have to learn how to deal with it. So we need to give our children a safe environment that when things happen, number one, they feel comfortable enough to communicate with their parents and open up. That's all the important stuff. And, to encourage that environment, of course, if you flow down, now we're down to number 5, right? No phone, eye contact, asking them, more open-ended questions. Even one-on-one time helps with this. Now, when it comes to conflict, we want to give them an environment where they feel comfortable to tell you. How many times have you heard, oh my God, even from a daughter and a dad, right? I'm a big guy. I don't want my kids to be intimidated by me. I want them to love me, and I want them to feel loved by me, but I also want them to respect me, of course, but I don't want to give them an environment where they're scared to tell me things. So, oh my God, I can't tell my dad. He's going to freak out. He's going to be so mad. That is not healthy. I don't have to tell you what psychology books or therapy books or parenting books to read. Gottman, there's all these people that are all the, the exceptional scholars. I can tell you objectively, you don't have to read any of those books to realize if you are the person that's chaotic during the chaos, it's just going to exacerbate the situation and your kids will not go to you. So just understand it is your job that when there is the chaos, right, when something happens, when they need you, you have to be the calm during the storm. Just understand, modeled behavior oftentimes rubs off on our kids. Even when you think it doesn't, it certainly does. So when things happen, conflict resolution is a huge skill set that we have to learn, all of us, from birth up until, the end of days. So to do that, who's modeling these behaviors? Who are we with the most time during the day, or at least most throughout the day? Of course, our parents, especially as time goes on. So we want to offer the best example of during the chaos, during the conflict, what it should look like for them to learn from us. So it starts with us, dads. We have to, in the mirror, model the right behaviors, because if we can't handle the conflicts and the chaos, how will our kids be able to? All right, guys, if this video resonated with you and the 5 ways we went over to be a better attentive parent really left its mark, make sure you watch our next video. Career and Kids, Tips for Working Parents on Finding Balance. Now, of course, balancing a career, balancing kids is a difficult thing, so make sure you watch our next video where we go over all the tips to be successful at it.